At this point in the Biden presser, I realized what the coronavirus lockdown is all about. We talked yesterday about how there's no medical purpose to the lockdown anymore. The point of the lockdown was not to stop the virus or to cure the virus, right? It couldn't possibly achieve that. The only point was to flatten the curve, not overwhelm the healthcare system. We never even came close to overwhelming the healthcare system. We did that. We achieved the only thing the lockdowns could achieve. The only purpose of the lockdowns at this point could be political. And what's the political purpose? It occurred to me yesterday that the lockdown is Biden's campaign. It's the whole campaign. How did I figure this out? Because Joe Biden mentioned during this presser, first one in 88 days, he's not going to campaign. He's not going to hold rallies. He cares so much about his fellow Americans that he's going to sit at home until he wins the presidency by default.
Well, this is the most unusual campaign, I think, in modern history. But I start off with the premise, Mike, that I'm going to follow the doc's orders, not just for me, but for the country. And that means that I am not going to be holding rallies. I am not going to be, for example, you all are here, but the school has put those circles around so we keep the social distancing. Everybody has masks on. As soon as I finish this, I'll put my mask back on. So it's almost all been virtual. Although I have gone to Houston, I have gone into Pennsylvania, I have gone to Virginia, I have traveled, but what I do, I get in, make my case, and leave, take questions, and leave. But you know me, I'd much rather be out there with people because that's where I get the greatest feel.
Okay, first of all, not the best choice of words for Joe Biden. You don't want to talk about how you want to be around people because you can feel them. Sort of a side point. This is so corrupt. This answer is so unbelievably corrupt. The first part, he says, I'm not going to hold rallies, meaning I'm not going to campaign, meaning it's the beginning, setting the stage for the excuse of why he's not going to participate in a debate with Donald Trump. That's the first part. If he's not holding rallies, he's not holding a campaign, then how on earth could he go to a debate? It's the same point. He says, I just don't want to bring people together in a physical location, so therefore I'm not going to campaign. He's not going to be able to back out of the debate unless he starts to set the stage now. So that's the first part. And why won't he debate Trump? Because Trump would eat him for lunch. There would be nothing left other than Joe Biden's very shiny teeth, just chattering there. He got very good-looking teeth. I assume they're not natural, but that would be the last thing left, okay? The second part, why won't he hold the campaign? Doctor's orders. Well, not just for me, but for the country. This is something we've talked about now for weeks, which is that what the left does is they exploit science, capital S, trademark over the E, to avoid politics. The whole thing Biden's been talking about in this presser. So he's saying, the doctor's orders to the country is we can't have a presidential campaign and you just got to elect me. No, actually, doctors don't diagnose countries. Doctors diagnose individual patients. What you do, political demagogues like you, diagnose countries and tell them to just do whatever you say. So he's saying in the name of science, we can't have a presidential campaign this year. But then he realized he is in public. He is doing a thing right now, right? He actually is traveling around the country occasionally, at least to raise a little bit of money, at least to make a comment here or a comment there. So he has to he goes, and that's why, we all have to wear masks. And I'm going to wear my mask just as soon as I get off this stage. It's like Andy Cuomo yesterday, shaming Trump for not wearing a mask. Andy Cuomo himself wasn't wearing the mask. And that's why I'm not going to bring any people together in a room. Well, I know I brought all of you together in the room, but that's because it was politically convenient for me. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do that after this. And I'm not going to travel. I know that I travel to some places, but I'm only going to travel when it's convenient for me. It's all just BS, okay? The whole thing is BS. Every day this lockdown, this absolutely medically pointless lockdown goes on, is a point you can take away from Donald Trump's tally in the presidential race and a point you can add to Joe Biden's tally. It's the only way they can win, and it's the only explanation for why the lockdown is still going on. What is the other explanation? They're talking about how the cases are exploding. Sure, but the deaths are not. The number of deaths are not, and the death rate is not. And if the whole point of the virus is we don't have a cure for it, we don't have a vaccine, then there's nothing the lockdowns can do. All you can do is flatten the curve. We already did that. I'm so frustrated with Republican governors and even some people on campaigns who think that this is still about medical science, who think that this is a fair playing field. It's not. It's a setup, folks. Got to stop it. I hope that people from Republican campaigns, including the biggest one, are listening right now. You have to run against the lockdowns. You've got to run hard against the lockdowns. The lockdown is the entirety of Joe Biden's and the Democrats' campaigns. If the Democrats had a capable candidate who was articulate, who they thought could beat Donald Trump in a debate, you can bet your last dollar they would be holding rallies every single week. You can bet it, but they're not, okay? And so they've got to walk back. They've got to lean back on an absolutely corrupted and perverted exploitation of science. This video is sponsored by BlinkSale, the revolutionary invoicing software for contractors and small businesses. Spend less time billing and more time making bank with BlinkSale. Get a free trial at the link in the video description.